Okay, we are heading up into Odin's chamber to fight the fourth boss. And we get two of these lovely lightning guys. They do just put lightning everywhere. If you just kind of ping pong them back and forth, it kind of helps, so we'll stay out of that. And they'll do a big AoE. They do kind of hit hard, but you can avoid most of their attacks. The other thing you can do if you want a little more space is actually pull them all the way up into Odin's chamber. They will follow you. So if you feel that you want some more space to deal with them, you can just go right on up into his area here without any problem. This next boss, well, actually we have a couple of mini bosses to deal with before we get to him. You have to kill these little kings here. The first two you deal with individually. Not too much mechanically going on with them. Whoop. You actually have to tank these, Russ. Yeah. So the first boss is of this little area. It'll be the fourth boss of the dungeon is God King Skovald. The main thing is Odin will give you a shield once we deal with these little kings here, and during the fight with Skovald, he will do a huge cast, and you can actually see it under his bar up at the top, and then there'll be a big warning that says he's casting this spell. And when he starts that, somebody has to be in charge of the shield and pop it. And once you pop the shield, everybody gets behind it, and it makes the fight really easy. If you get somebody who doesn't understand the shield or realize that there is a shield, things can get a little bit rough. The damage does hurt a little bit. For these two guys, one of them, and I haven't really figured out which one because it's not a huge deal, but one of them spawns ads, and since they both come together, they may both spawn the ads. But you really don't have to deal with them. They despawn after you kill them, so I don't see any, so I think we are fine. Here it is. That's what I was talking about, the ancestor. I always try to move him away, because for some reason he's trying to get to the king. I'm sure it does some sort of damage. Well, let's just test and see what it does. Anything? Yeah, a little bit of damage. Nothing to worry about. But yeah, so you kill these guys. As the tank, it's quite okay to pull up to be in charge of the shield. You're not really doing much when he's doing the ability, so yeah. And it puts this little debuff right in the middle of your screen. Yeah, and it just protects you and the group from his big hitting ability. A little dialogue here between Odin and this guy, this chump. Yeah, but that's basically all there is to the fight, is controlling the shield. And I think he does a little ability that he will hop to one player or another. I don't think it does a whole lot of damage. The big damage is going to come from his ability that you use the shield on. And he does put little puddles. There's the hop. It does a little bit. Nothing you can't hear. It is Ragnarok. So you pop the shield and you stand behind the shield. Here's a good example of what happens if you don't stand behind the shield. Yeah. So, and then it's going to overpower the shield eventually. and when she pops over here, he gets the shield. So you just stand behind him and DPS him. He'll pop these little things on the ground, so be very, very careful not to stand in it. It does spawn ads. They're not too bad. You can kind of kite them a bit to kind of keep them away from people. And you want to go pick up the shield again to have it ready for the second. I'm going to move the boss out of the green. Okay. Sorry, group. Talking and not tanking. But yeah, that's all there is to it mechanically. The little hop does a little damage, and stay out of the green. And pop the shield when you see that debuff, and everybody gets inside it. Everybody. Here's some people. So it hits pretty hard if you just ignore the mechanic. So don't. Here he gets the shield. You just get in behind him usually. And you just have to be careful, because sometimes these balls, there's a good example, will put the green stuff on the ground and just move them out of it. And that is the fourth boss, Skovald. Not too terribly bad, just have somebody competent to run the shield, and everything else is pretty simple. On to Odin himself.